This is Ryan with MMA Viking here with George Sallfeldt. Thanks for joining us on this semi-holiday just after New Year's. Wanted to ask you first about your experience overseeing, and obviously you're in charge of MMA here in Sweden, when the UFC came here. What was that whole experience like for you?
That was interesting. The biggest show yet that we've had in Sweden. But on the other hand, they're very professional, and they really went through all the details and all the rules and regulations that we have here. So it was quite a smooth operation as far as the event is concerned. Not very much different from anything else that we're seeing in terms, of the operational issues. But still interesting, and also with all the attention that was going on, we had to really be on top of our game from our side as well. So good experience, yeah.
What do you think the impact was with the UFC coming here? I know like Stockholm events, there was like this long delay of having any promotions coming into Stockholm, and Superior Challenge went down to Malmo. Do you think having, the largest promotion in the world coming here is help fostering MMA in general for Sweden, or is it hindering it?
No, I think for Sweden as a whole, it's very helpful. We can see the media and the tone in the media towards our sport is very different today than it was just a couple of years ago, and I'm sure that both some of the athletes and promotion like the UFC have helped that. For Stockholm as a region, I think it's important to have both smaller and larger shows. I hope to see more smaller shows in the Stockholm area in the future.
Great. And as for, I think the big question, and every time Swedes go to media events, usually the question is like, when is the UFC coming back in Sweden? Do you think that could happen this year? Or tell us about whatever you could tell us about when the UFC might be back here.
Sure. I think looking at the event that they had here last year in April, they said that they were quite happy with how it went. I think they would be happy to come back, and I think they have us in their plans. I believe so.
Great. So maybe this year.
Well, I think they should be the ones to say when they're coming or not, but I think they're definitely talking about Sweden. We know that much, and we have an ongoing dialogue with the UFC, of course. So we know that they have her in their plans, but exactly when they'll be back, we don't know that yet.
Great. I think Sweden, whenever Dana White hears Sweden and he thinks of the event, he always says awesome. I think he said it 3 times, so I think it was a great event and experience, and we look forward to when they come back. You talked about the media, and I know you've been in and around MMA, I guess probably before they even were calling it MMA, probably NHB or whatever the term was. Looking back on just the development of the sport, are you amazed that in 2013 we are where we are with the UFC here, with 6 or 7 promotions with yearly events in Sweden?
Not now. If you asked me that 10 years ago, I would have been surprised. But had you asked me that 4 years ago, I think we saw where this development was going. But my tendency is to look to the future, and I'm more excited to see MMA becoming a global sport, as other sports are global in terms of both the audience and how it works and how it's regulated, and really being a part of the sports community. And I think especially for the athletes' sake, we have these, especially now around New Year's, you have these types of where you compare sporting events and sporting what do you call it? I don't want to say the wrong word, so that's why I'm thinking.
Be very careful.
But basically, people are comparing different athletes in different sports and in different fields. And I think here in Sweden we have some amazing accomplishments during 2012, but I think maybe some of the accomplishments within our sport should have been held up when you do these reviews for the year. And I think the reason they're not is because we are not, as a sport yet, in these sports communities, sports organizations in the world. You have different ones. You have Sport Accord, you have the Olympic organization, and so on. So I'm more interested in moving in that direction and getting the sport established on a level that it really deserves.
Mm-hmm. So are you saying that MMA, the accomplishments of, let's say, Alexander Gustafsson, who on an international level, top 5, top 3 fighter in the world in mixed martial arts, may not get the credit that he deserves on a mainstream media perspective?
Yeah, I believe so. I don't want to take anything away from other sports and athletes that they've been doing some amazing things this past year, but I definitely think that there would have been room for more focus on his accomplishments. Absolutely.
Great. Well, we look forward to what 2013 brings, and we thank you for your time today.
Thank you.